Well, hello there. Glad you can make it. I'm sure you're anxious to hear the story. We have quite a bit more chapters to get through. But, oh, and what was that? Yes, I left you at a precarious position last time. Cliffhanger, you call it? Maybe. But, be that as it may, I think we will continue and you will be surprised at what will happen. Before we go, though, Vincent! Vincent!
Hang on, boss. His timing is most impeccable. I'm coming. Okay. Yep, what's up, boss?
Vincent, could you do me a favor? Could you get me some honey tea, please? My throat's a bit sore. Thank you. All right, so, the story. Where did we leave off? Oh, yes. It was a precarious position. The Girogormo had found Baldwin.
As the husband and wife seek to protect their young one as well as their own lives, the creature's shriek dominates the night noise. Even Jasper is cowering under Byron's bed. Baldwin's heart is beating so fast, he has felt fear before. One could not avoid it in a territory wars, but this is so much more. A creature, fabled to exist in the depths so dark one would think you're on the brink of hell itself. And yet, here it is, looking for him, looking for revenge. Baldwin looks to the sword Elrin left him. This is all he has, plus his wits to keep his family alive. He nearly died the first time fighting one of these creatures. How will he stay alive this time? To protect his wife, his child, no, his children. The latch to the front door lifts up, but the board of crossing keeps it secure from opening. Moments pass. Silence echoes. Glass shatters as a large rock is thrown into the kitchen. It hits the floor, rolling to Baldwin's feet. Behind him, through the bedroom door, he can hear Byron crying, with Sylvia trying to comfort. Meanwhile, it is quiet on the porch. Too quiet. Baldwin jumps back as the barred kitchen door bursts inward into ragged pieces, with a 6-inch sliver stabbing into his upper right shoulder. And as the last of the pieces fall to the floor, Baldwin sees the outline of the Girogormo step into the very much wider door frame. It lifts its head, sniffing the air. Glowing green eyes stare about, taking in the kitchen, the fireplace, and then Baldwin. With a wicked smile, it glistens in the firelight. It takes a step into the house.
I smell our sister's blood on you.
All the hairs on Baldwin stand up at this.
You should never have lived past her reach, for which I will now remedy.
Yelling, Baldwin replies,
I know not what you're speaking of. I am just a simple farmer with a family.
Lies! Your fear cannot mask the smell of our sister's blood that stains your blade.
Taking a half step back, Baldwin quickly looks at the blade's edges. The long sword gleams in the light of the fireplace. There is no blood. But then it dawns on him. Jacob's hunting knife. He'd been carrying it around ever since, and had made sure the blade was always sharp. He knows there's no blood in those edges. He'd swear his life on it. Meanwhile, the creature's womanly hands caress the plates on the table, while her 4 spider-like legs click across the floor.
I smell more fear, not yours. Young fear. Oh, so young this fear is. Juicy it will be on my tongue.
Swinging the sword across, Baldwin lunges for the evil thing. Cackling, it skitters back, pushing the table over. Trying to maintain an advantage, Baldwin stabs at its chest, but the creature bats the blade away to his left, and then sharp claws are raking across his right shoulder, driving the wood splinter deeper. Searing pain escapes his lips, and taking a half step back again, Baldwin feints with another stab, this time ready, and when her claw comes up to block, he drops the tip instead, and then pulls the edge of the blade up to slice off her hand. He nearly gets her, but she is quicker, only getting a scratch as she pulls back.
You foul, pathetic human. No playing. Now you die.
Immediately, her forelegs are scrambling forward to bowl him over. It takes every effort to keep facing her and not fall backwards. Baldwin is trying to block each wicked slash, while not trying to give any ground, but it's to no avail. He eventually backs up, hitting the bedroom door. Seeing his demise, the creature begins cackling again, and begins to stab out with her razor-like claws. Baldwin is blocking each, but barely, mostly out of luck, the rest driven by fear. Yells Baldwin as the creature's claws finally reach him, pinning him to the door, piercing through his shoulder, while her other claw grasps the blade in his hand and twists it away. Heat and pain spread from his shoulder to every part of the body. Then the Jurgomo leans in.
I shall save you.
And as she opens her mouth, her jaw begins to elongate, while fangs grow, dripping in oily substance. Crying through tears,
No!
Baldwin reaches for Jacob's knife at his side. But just as he gets his hand on the handle, the creature's hand clamps down, pinning his arm to his side. The breath of death fills Baldwin's nostrils as the creature's mouth disappears below his chin.
I'm sorry, Sylvia.
Whispers Baldwin as its teeth start to sink into his neck. A deafening scream fills Baldwin's ears. Blood sprays into his face, and the creature's grasp on his knife hand loosens. Yanking the knife out, Baldwin goes to stab the creature in its side, but it is stepping backward out of his reach. Blood is squirting out the side of its neck, and a silver blade is protruding from its chest, which then promptly disappears. The Jurgomo tries to say something, but it cannot, as its head tumbles off, its body following forward. And there, standing behind it, is an older man, dressed in a dark brown, greenish cloak and pants.
Who are you?
Is all Baldwin can say before he passes out from his wounds. Opening his eyes, Baldwin finds himself in his bed. The bedroom door is slightly ajar. Slowly getting up, he pauses as tightness in his shoulder forces him to look. Bandages wrap around his chest, up his left shoulder, and then around his neck. Taking it all in, he proceeds with a tentative step, then another. He feels lightheaded, but at least there is no pain. As he approaches the door, he can hear Byron talking, and with what sounds like a man. Opening the door further, there sits his son, finishing an apple, while across from him sits an older man, the man dressed from the night's attack. But where is Sylvia?
Papa!
Yells Byron, while running to his father, almost knocking him over.
Hey there, son. How are you? What are you doing? And where's your mother?
Papa, I want to be a ranger. Mama's in the barn feeding chickens and getting more eggs. And Talon's gonna teach me. Can I, Papa?
Talon. You mean the very hamlet we're living in?
Aye, that'd be the same. My original grandfather, great-grandfather to be precise, is one of the original settlers here.
As Baldwin leans down to hug Byron, the man called Talon stands. Looking him over, he finds at least a 10-year-old older person, maybe more. He's built lean, and as he moves out from the table to give his hand for a shake, Baldwin can see a grace in his movements. Other than his height, which is almost matching his, nothing else is discernible except for the forest-colored clothes he wears.
My name is Talon Longbow.
Standing back up and letting Byron cling to his leg, Baldwin returns the shake.
Baldwin. And obviously you already met my son Byron.
Hi.
And my wife, of course, Sylvia.
Aye, They've been gracious while I wait for you.
Baldwin motions for Talon to sit as he himself takes a chair. Then little Byron goes into the other chair next to his father.
Byron, I need some time, man to man, to talk, okay?
About the creature?
Yes, but more, I do not want your ears around. And take Jasper with you, too.
Sulking, Byron heads out. He knows better to question his father.
Come on, Jasper. Let's go hunt some squirrels.
You have a special family. You are a lucky man.
I am. But if I may, special?
Aye, your family be special in its ability to bounce back to what we call normalcy.
Ah.
Moments of awkward silence pass between the two.
So, Talon, I want to thank you for saving my family. And me.
No need. It is my duty to slay such creatures. I'd be failing my responsibilities if such evil beings were left to ruin our surface world.
Duty? A failing?
Without going into much detail, seeing how your family can come in at any time, suffice to say I was expecting and tracking the Juragono.
Baldwin stares on in bewilderment.
As you probably gathered from your son, I am a ranger, but I am also a druid of faith. With these two life callings, I am bestowed with certain gifts, such that when the balance of life's energy is changed, it is felt. And with life experience, well, I can usually determine the cause along with the degree of danger. In your case, or should I say in Jacob's case, that meeting of the creature was purely chance. That is, you entering their home. I was only an hour away. If you had not come along, well, the creature would have gone away. I would have then been left to track it, but then I would have slayed it.
Pausing, as if to reflect on some thought, Talon continues.
Though upon hearing the tale from your wife and Marcus, I begin to question the chance in all this. The dog calling on you, the nature to help, to protect. I'm beginning to think there's more at work than these counters.
Baldwin's head is spinning. He can barely keep up in what this man is trying to say. Not to mention, he is starving. Reaching for some bread and honey to smother it with, Baldwin asks,
You mentioned you were expecting the Juragomo and was tracking it?
Aye, after seeing the creature's tracks along with it being dragged away, well, I knew I needed to follow. And then see where it led. I had my suspicions, but still, so many stories come out of the Forbidden Forest. Some are made up, some are half true. Others, they're just darn too amazing to believe, yet true they are. Of course, the Juragomo is the latter. Anyways, seeing where this creature came from, knowing their connections to each other, it was just a matter of time before another came seeking for you.
It said it could smell its sister's blood on my blade, but the blade is clean.
Aye.
handing Jacob's knife hilt first, Talon takes his time examining it. After a couple of minutes, Talon points to the back of the guard, where they see a single spot of blood.
You are kidding, right?
No, the creatures have abilities that mere humans do not. They can see in the dark. They even have enhanced hearing and smell, strength, not to mention the spider-like traits of poison and climbing on walls and spinning web-like cords.
They can spin webbing?
Aye, but don't ask, it's particularly gross.
Wait, you said connections before. What does that mean?
It means these creatures are tethered, as if they're all in the same spiderweb. When one of them gets jostled, the other can feel it. It means the death of the Juragomo in your house, that was felt, and will be more coming for you.
Okay. And that, for right now, is going to be it. I have another appointment, and I must tend to it. But we will finish the story. So, please come back. Until then, be safe.